Hello, everybody. Welcome to Agentforce World Tour New York. Who is ready to learn about best practices for Salesforce administration? All hands in the air, yes. I am Kate Lassard. This is the great Jen Lee. We are from the admin relations team at Salesforce, which means our entire job is making sure that admins are just as best prepared to manage their orgs as possible. Before we dive into our content, a forward-looking statement. Please remember that Salesforce is a publicly traded company and make any of your purchasing decisions based on already available technology. And let's kick off with a big attitude of gratitude. Thank you all so much for being here, for choosing this session. We know that you have a lot of amazing content that you can go see, things you can experience today. We know that many of you traveled from maybe even out of state. I saw some people out of the country. So thank you so much for joining us, for investing the time in yourself and in being here. I am Kate Lassard, lead admin evangelist at Salesforce, and I don't want to spend too much time on introductions because we have a ton of content to get through, but I am the West Coaster on the team, and I will pass it off to my counterpart.
And I'm Jennifer Lee. I'm the other lead admin evangelist, and I'm the East Coast evangelist. So you might be new to the ecosystem, or maybe you're looking to pivot your career, or maybe you're a hiring manager looking for that next rock star. So what is a Salesforce admin? At your core, Salesforce admins are the ultimate problem solvers. You are the bridge between your business requirements and technology, and you unlock value. You help your users and your companies make the most out of Salesforce, and you drive productivity and innovation using your core responsibilities: managing users, supporting users, managing data, driving product innovation, ensuring security standards, and delivering actionable analytics. And the secret sauce? Well, it's your skills. As a Salesforce admin, you develop a unique set of skills that you use each and every day. And although your job title might not be project manager or business analyst, you are absolutely doing the work, from project management to data analysis to process automation. So the bottom line is, when you utilize these skills, you not only keep the lights on, you deliver success. So how do we take those core responsibilities and turn them into action? And it's with habits. So admin habits are repeatable, automatic actions that help you and your business succeed no matter the situation. Now, habits isn't a new concept. So use the QR code that you see on the screen and take the core responsibilities for Salesforce administrators Trailhead badge to do a deeper dive of this topic. Now today, it's all about connecting the dots. So we're going to show you how to take those core responsibilities and turn them into habits. But it's not about just knowing what habits, what actions to take, but also to do them consistently. So we're going to show you how to take those core habits and apply best practices for it. So we identified 5 core responsibilities: security, user management, data management, product management, and analytics. And underlying those core responsibilities is something that we truly care deeply about, and this is your personal success. So again, we're going to cover those best practices to get you started with core responsibilities.
All right, I'm going to kick us off talking about security, which is a personal passion of mine, as well as for many Salesforce admins, because it is our responsibility to secure our orgs, keeping our data for our customers and our users safe. So what can you do? What are some of these core habits or best practices that you can employ to keep good security in your org? The first tip I'm going to give you is to communicate regularly with your IT team. Maybe if you're at an enterprise organization, you also have a security or governance team that you're regularly communicating with. And this is making sure that your Salesforce security is lining up with the security at the rest of your organization. Really important. We also want to go ahead and review access and visibility regularly. So ensuring that all of our users are adhering to the principle of least privilege, which means that each of them has access only to what they need to do their job and nothing more, making sure that we're keeping our org secure internally as well as externally. And then we want to make sure that we're staying informed about the latest security updates. This is incredibly important right now in this day and age because I feel like we're learning something new about AI every day, and making sure that we're employing those things, keeping our org secure, and really staying on top of the different trends and threats that are facing us is incredibly important. Okay, so you're going to see a lot of these kind of calendar screens as we go through the presentation. I want to start off by prefacing this is an example. You are going to determine the cadence of these steps at your own organization. Maybe you're at a smaller organization and some of the things we say we do weekly, you're going to do monthly or even quarterly. That's okay. It's up to you to determine that. But some of the best practices that we've outlined for maintaining good security in your org include reviewing your user login history. I like to do this at the beginning of the week, checking out what things are going on in my org, what IP ranges are being used, if there are any, kind of funny looking user logins, places from different locations, or multiple repeated attempts. Just keeping an eye on and noticing any trends. Later in the week, I'm going to run my security health check maybe. We say to repeat this quarterly. I like to align this with the release schedule, so those 3 releases a year, to make sure that I am running the health check alongside those releases to make sure that my security is up to speed. And then repeat weekly. This I cannot stress enough. Communicate regularly with your IT team. You are all working towards the same mission to keep your organization and your business secure, no matter what system you're working with. So it's incredibly important that you are in alignment.
Great. So on to our next core responsibility, user management. Now, user management is all about ensuring that your users have the capability to get their jobs done in Salesforce, access to those right apps and the permissions. And you could personalize and customize your user experiences in Salesforce. And this is really important for your users and company. So among the various user management activities, they include designing and customizing your user experience, managing profiles, permissions, and roles and groups, and lastly, communicating and interacting with your users and key stakeholders. So let's talk about putting those best practices into habits. Again, this is meant to be a high-level overview, some examples, but again, you're going to make ones that make sense for you and your companies. So on a weekly basis, we recommend SABWA, Salesforce Administration by Walking Around. And this is about observing your users and how they use Salesforce. And the process might be different from someone working in the office versus someone working virtually, but the end result is you understanding how they're interacting with the system. Now, on a quarterly basis, after you create that initial user guide, block out your calendar to spend time to keep it up to date, maintain it, make sure that you're adding those new processes that you've automated, or decommissioning or removing things that are no longer valid, but keep that updated. And then on a monthly basis, communicate with those key stakeholders. Now, what's the key stakeholder? That's a manager of a team that has a process in Salesforce. So for example, if you have, you're using Sales Cloud, right? You're going to have that sales manager be part of the key stakeholder reviews. But what you're doing in those meetings is bringing the innovation to those conversations, right? Understanding how their users are using Salesforce and how you can make life better for them. So ultimately, here are some examples. You're going to make your own, but the end goal is to increase productivity, improve overall user adoption, and make your user experiences much better.
All right. I'm going to talk to you about data management. Who is a big data fan in the room? Yeah, we've got our data people out there for sure. All right. So Data, incredibly important in Salesforce, and to keep Salesforce as your system of record or that single source of truth, we really want clean data, whether it's being maintained solely in Salesforce or whether it's coming in from multiple external sources from Data 360. We want it clean, we want it usable. So some of those tips are going to be to improve data quality and ensure cleanliness. And this is going to encourage users to continue to be in the system. It's going to motivate them to enter data because if it's where they can get data and they can get the answers they need, they're going to keep that up to speed. Create and maintain a backup solution. This is hugely important. I don't know if anyone in the room has ever experienced a data loss, whether small or large, but it is a huge feat to bring your data back into Salesforce. So this can be something as simple as using the free backup solution in Salesforce, just downloading that weekly and having that base point to at least be able to add back in recent data if you experience a loss. Or there are plenty of awesome add-on products like Own that you can use to replenish your data in the event of a loss. Maintain and improve your org. This is my favorite slide in the entire deck because who doesn't want to delight their users with improved performance? All right, so some of those best practices that you can put into place, maintain that backup solution. Again, this can be that weekly download, or you can have an additional tool that you found either on the App Exchange or that you're using in your organization. Review your duplicates. This is another thing I like to do at the beginning of the week because then it's going to encourage my users to use Salesforce throughout the week because they're not going to run into those duplicates. So initiate a process, go ahead, review those duplicates, clean your data right away so that people continue to use and that you can maintain. And also, if you do this weekly, it is going to be hugely helpful and a big time savings along the way because if you let it go for a whole quarter and then you decide to do this, you're going to have so much more to do and more records to review versus doing it on a weekly basis. And then this last one, we used to have the optimizer. I like to use org check since Optimizer was retired, which is a great tool that you can get on the App Exchange. It's a Salesforce Labs product, so it's free. And you can review those results to make improvements to your organization, and it's going to help point you in the right direction to do some cleanup.
All right, moving to our fourth core responsibility, product management. So as a Salesforce admin, you need to keep up to date with the latest and greatest in Salesforce innovation. And we innovate in major releases 3 times a year, summer, winter, and spring. And you need to read up on those release notes because you're the expert. You are the one who know what features make sense for you and your companies. Now, we also introduce critical updates. This is also known as release updates and setup, but these are bug fixes that help you improve overall performance issues and usability issues. So to understand what those upcoming release updates are, in setup, go to release updates, needs action. And then lastly, there might be business requirements that can't be met with the platform. So we recommend heading out to the App Exchange where you can get access to free and paid apps. They're organized by businesses, industries, and collections. You can also get tips and tricks as well as read up on success stories. So I know that there's a lot of product innovations going on, right? So how do we turn those into best practices and habits?
And I'm going to interrupt you. Have you guys seen Jen's amazing release blog of all of the features for Salesforce admins? That is the place to go to get that overview of specifically what is important to you. So big shout out to Jen for that.
Thank you. So on a quarterly basis, go and read the seasonal release blog. Again, you just need to read that up on that. We also have all sorts of resources related to releases, the key milestones, when your sandboxes are going to be upgraded, what you need to do to prepare for them. And go to the admin website. I'm going to shout out the resources later on, but we have a whole section dedicated to releases that will include a link to my blog on a quarterly basis, but also some product highlights that we want to call out. So then bring those conversations again into those meetings that you have with your key stakeholders. Also, when I was an admin, I did lunch and learns where I highlighted what's going on in the releases to my users, but also to my admin and developer teams as well, so that they're up to speed. But again, you might have business requirements that can't be met with the platform. So on a monthly basis, go out to the App Exchange and check and see what's out there. You can also bring in apps that will help extend your Salesforce instance, but also give you a head start in app building.
All right, let's talk analytics. We want to make them actionable. So this is important because when you have actionable analytics, your stakeholders are use that to actually drive and make business decisions, which is the goal for every Salesforce admin. So we're going to do that by building reports and dashboards that visualize our performance and provide true insight into how the business is doing. We are going to define success metrics both for users and for stakeholders because they might have different metrics and things that they're looking at and that are important to them. And then we're going to continue to collaborate with stakeholders. I can't stress this enough, really across the board, as something really meaningful and important for Salesforce administrators. So, some of those best practices we can put into work are meeting with those stakeholders regularly, not just to confirm that the KPIs remain the same, but to update them as they change. Something that might be important this quarter might not be as important next quarter, and it's something that we might not need on that performance dashboard anymore, and that we want to make sure that we're updating and making that relevant and keeping it really truly usable for your stakeholders. Week or monthly, we want to review and report on adoption. Has anyone used the report on reports? This is fantastic. It's a way that you can see what reports you have in your system and who's using them. So there might be a report that you think is really valuable but is not being used at all. And that's something that maybe you want to share with your users. Or maybe it's something that you want to reevaluate and make that valuable for them and provide the information they need and then clean out that system, keep it nice and clean. And then we want to review and update our key reports and dashboards. So this is something I like to do weekly, making sure that we review and update and that we're increasing that trust and driving visibility, again, with both our users and our stakeholders.
All right, so we covered a lot in under 20 minutes, but we saved the best one for last. And many wonder what makes for a successful admin. And like many things, it all comes down to having a solid foundation. And that is you and your personal success. And investing in your personal success is the most important thing that you can do in your career. So while you're at this world tour today, interact with other admins. Go check out your local user group, community dreaming events, and other Salesforce events like this. So to keep that learning going and to start building that solid foundation, we want you to take away 2 resources today. So check out our Salesforce admins website. That should be your home base for admins because we deliver all this content just geared to admins. So we have blog posts, videos, and podcasts. And subscribe to our Salesforce Admin Digest. On a monthly basis, we'll deliver right to your inbox product news, best practices, and great content, again, geared towards you.
And I'm going to put this back on the board. Jen called it out earlier. This is that admin core responsibilities trailhead module. It takes all of the different core responsibilities that we just looked at and dives deeper into all of them and provides some great video demos that can be really helpful to go through. And with that, thank you so much for joining us.